in the module, I put in a run, catch, jump extra credit. So it's worth 1 point right there. And it has to be 1 point. It has to be some number right there. Remember that I want to see progress on your walk and your run like today. And so what I had done was put all of those files in a folder here. Now I just asked it to bring it up. Why isn't it bringing it up? Chloe, what did you do to my computer? All right, so there we go. All right, so I see that there's a lot of walks in part 1. So let me bring up the speed grader for this and cross-reference it here. So this is Victor. Hello, Victor. How are you?
Doing all right. Also, I think the animation is a little funky in my opinion, but yeah.
It's what?
It might be a little funky looking,
Funky.
in my opinion, but yeah.
All right, so I have some suggestions for you if you want to take some notes. So do you have your application open?
No, not right now.
Well, if you could get it open while I'm talking, it might help a little bit, but I think it's pretty good. But here's some suggestions. Here's some suggestions for you. I think this is working fine. I think you've got your arc working here. It looks like your leg bends and then it straightens out, so that's okay. It looks like you've got the up and down motion working okay. Remember that he is in place. But there's something that seems like it's drifting. And I'm not quite sure what it is. Remember that in order to make sure it's working perfectly, that the contact drawing is drawing number 1, down is number 5, the passing position is drawing number 9, and then the up position is drawing 13. So those are your main key drawings right there. And I always write these out like this, because those are your main keys: contact, down, passing, and up. And then those get copied. The silhouette gets copied to form 17 is a copy of 1, 21 is a copy of 25, 25 is a copy of 9, just opposite hands and feet, and 29 is a copy of 13, again, just opposite hands and feet. And so on 2s, then you have to do the breakdowns. You have to do 3 and 7 and 11 and 15, and then 19 and 23, 27, and I do it like this because you have to remember to do 31. And these technically are breakdowns, so you get a little line underneath them, like that. So what that does is it gives you a total of 32 frames, which is about 1.25 seconds, 1.25 seconds, something like that. And so this seems to be drifting just a little bit. Do you know if you were on 2s or 3s?
I was animating on 2s for the most part.
So why does it look like he's drifting instead of like in the walk cycle? He should be, oh, sorry, I can't do it that way. So do you have a total of 16 drawings?
I believe so.
How did you do the animation? Which application?
Toon Boom Harmony.
did you ask Toon Boom to move this character, or did you actually reposition it?
I actually did reposition the drawings and stuff, but yeah.
So you didn't automate the up and down movement.
Well, I did, but I don't know how to describe it though. I just use a different kind of animation process though. I mean, it's not necessarily puppet animation, but I don't know.
Well, hold on a second. The reason why I ask you is because it looks like you asked Toon Boom to take drawing 1 and move it into the position number 5, right?
Yeah.
And then it gave you drawings number 2, 3, and 4. And then when you asked it to go into position number 9, it gave you 6, 7, and 8. Did it give you all the drawings on 1s or all the drawings on 2s?
Well, the thing was, I was actually animating on 2s, so the thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So for something's catching my eye. It just looks a little smooth for being on 2s. All right. So having said that, I think that everything is working pretty well. I think that the foot could bend in the back here. Look for that one position where the foot is bent. And then for the next position after that, the toe moves backwards along the ground plane, along the treadmill, and the foot goes up on its toe. So you're missing the drawing where the foot bends, and you're missing the drawing where the foot goes up on its toe. So right now I can see that you've got a typical foot looks just like a boot, like this. And that boot doesn't change shape. So in this suggestion, the boot changes shape. And in this one, the ankle bends because the toe goes up on it, the foot goes up on its toe. So look for those two things to make this better. Then the next thing, you've got the arm pivoting, and it looks okay. You got both arms pivoting on a pivot point, but your arm really should bend as it comes into the front view. As it comes into the front position, it should bend a little bit. All right, got that. See if you can make those adjustments. All right, and then hold on one second. Let me put this here. Okay. All right, and then Yolanda, is there a new one here for you?
I don't think so. Or is it?
But I don't see that folder in this. So let me just look at this. Oh, we've seen this already. Okay, so that one's already there. It's just I don't see that name here. All right, let me make sure I drop it in here. All right, so that's not new, right?
If it's a version 2, it is, but I can't really read it. Does it say version 1?
It says version 1. Version
Oh,
1.
then yeah.
Version 1-1.
Oh,
Now, is that because you put it in the late folder or something?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Oh, you might have put it in walk part 2.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, so let's continue with this one. And Carmen,
Hello.
hello. Yeah, we've seen that one already. And that one's good. Deshaun, Desha? Did we see this one yet, Desha? I don't know if we've seen this one yet. All right, once again, the best way to observe this is to look at the feet first, and to see that the up and down head are moving correctly. I think that you've got the same kind of pivot thing happening here that could be adjusted a little bit. Hold on, sorry. So your arm is pivoting here as the character goes up and down. In order to make this adjustment, I think that we take our camera and in an in-place walk cycle, we follow the character as the character's walking on the treadmill. So if you could try to fix any of the wiggle back and forth here on the head, neck, and body, I think that when you were repositioning it, you just were not extremely precise about making sure that it went down and up on the same straight line. I think that would improve it. If you were to take this walk cycle and actually take each frame and put it into the proper position, you would never see this little back and forth wiggle that you've got going on here. So if this is just like a fine tuning adjustment. But the thing that I think that you could really work on is that both in the back position maybe is to straighten that arm out a little bit. Or you make the choice, keep the arm as it's angled like this in the back. And then as it gets to the front, maybe you can make it maybe either a little straighter or bend it a little more. I think that will loosen up the stiffness of the arm, because it looks like you just rotated the whole arm. It looks like you copy and pasted the whole arm as opposed to actually animating it. Reagan. You have a walk 2 here, so my guess is that we already looked at this, and we already looked at your walk 2 as well. Yeah, we already looked at this, so there's a walk 2 in there. We'll do that next. All right, Deborah. All right, yeah, we saw either this one last week or the week before. So there's a critique on this. It's good. It's working. I think you have a number 2 in there as well. All right, James.
Hey, so that's my walk. We
It's the
kind of-
old one. All right, I'll look at the new one here in a second.
Yeah, so I sent a run in, and I know that there's some problems with it. It's
Okay.
a little rough around the edges. Like I didn't do certain things. Like I didn't animate the hands yet.
Right, right.
And the other thing is my timing was a bit off. I think I got like the legs in I was proud of the legs. They were really challenging, but my head movement, like my math didn't add up right. So they were like, you'll see, you'll instantly notice it. You have
So you're saying that there's a walk in the other folder?
Huh.
This says walk 2.
Oh, weird. Oh no, I turned it in the run section.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So this one's looking pretty good here. Again, I think that you could use a little bend in the arm as it comes to the front position.
Okay.
The feet look good and the overall motion looks good right there. All right, this is Chloe.
Oh, yeah, I submitted that last week, but I don't think I forgot to mention to look at it. That's like not, I have submitted a walk too because I actually like added my character on top of it. This was just like for the motion.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so I could actually share my screen. I can show you the version I'm working on right now, but I submitted a somewhat updated version earlier today.
Did you put it in the second folder?
Yeah, I put it in walk 2.
Okay, I'll look at that one next. Hold on
Okay,
one
cool.
second. All right, shade. All right, so right away, I can tell that you used the example from the Preston Blair book. All animators know this. And it reads like the very cartoony walk cycle that it is. It also, so it looks like you followed the frames that were given pretty closely, almost religiously. So my take would be is that use this, study it, figure out what you did right. I think that the head is wobbling around, so you probably could have used a trace back or a copy and paste for the head, neck, and body, and you would have been a little happier with it. I think there's only 10 drawings in here, if I'm not mistaken. Shade, can you speak to that? There's either 10 or 12 drawings in here. It's a really quick walk. All right, so it looks okay, but remember that it looks just a little bit too heavily referenced from the Preston Blair. My take would be is now go back and put your own character on top of it. Vivian. All right, I think we saw this one.
Yeah, this is the old.
All
I'm
right,
still working on the updated version.
all right, I will look at that one here next. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I saw that there were more submissions in that folder. So I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. All right, so this is Angel. I don't know if we looked at this one last week or even 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Angel, this looks really good. You used my template. Hey, the handwriting looks really familiar. So just for whatever it's worth, everybody, if you're gonna do a screen grab and use the same arcs that your teacher's giving you, you're not gonna get into trouble. Yeah, it looks good. Magnus Marshall.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. So
Yeah, again, for some reason all the files that I had didn't wind up in this particular folder, so I'm just making sure that. So we looked at that one already. Do you have an update for that one?
oh yeah, the update should have been in there. Maybe it's for the one after this assignment.
Yeah, it's the other one. So let me continue through this folder. All right, Kyle. All right, yeah, we think we talked about this one. So there's a critique on this one. It's pretty good. I like it. Just go back and look at last week or the week before's critique for that one. Ryan. All right, yeah,
Yeah,
we looked
pretty
at this
sure.
one too, and there's a newer version, I remember. All right, so. Oh, hold on. All right, so it looks like you were referencing the Preston Blair timing again. I think the feet are working pretty well. But I think, let me take a look at this. Oops, hold on. First frame, second, third, fourth, fifth. So that's, and the last frame goes into the, oops, sorry. First frame. Last frame goes into the first frame. So what's happening is because your last frame doesn't hook up correctly with the hands, watch what the hands do. See these hands? They like jiggle back and forth. They jiggle back and forth. So draw your arc out. And in this example, your arc is going to look like a different one than mine. Your arc is going to look like this. And make sure that the hand, the wrist positions are moving correctly. Because there's two of them here that are stuck right on top of each other. And that's an easy correction. It's a really an easy adjustment to make. All right, Delilah. You know, now that I'm looking at this. All right, so this, did we look at this one already, Delilah?
Yes, we've seen this before.
Okay. No, you know, now that I'm looking at all these, I'm wondering if I put them in a different folder. I was cleaning up my desktop. All right, let me just keep going. And Tristan. All right, Tristan, did we look at this version before?
I think we did, because I'm pretty sure when
We were
we
talking
look-
about the telescoping leg, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I fixed that part.
All right, so let me put this away. Let me go to walk part 2, refresh. All right, so this was May 4th. So Yolanda,
Yes.
so this says version 2. So we've seen this one already, right?
Yes.
That one looks like this. Okay. All right, and so are you gonna fix the cane and hands?
Yes, I did, but I hadn't exported it yet.
Okay. All right, Carmen. Walk 2-1. All right, so that one should look like this. That one's great. We already saw that one. Good, that's excellent. Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just looking at one little thing here. No, I think it's good. The thing that I was looking for is that I'm going to do this frame by frame. So I'm going to start on drawing number 1, and your right foot is in the back. And on the very next drawing, it comes up off the ground plane. It gets on its toe, and then it starts to move forward. But then the left foot, it just goes from that position right here to lifting off the ground plane and then going forward. So you lose the squishy quality of the bending of the foot. So technically this foot is bent on drawing number 1. And then this is 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. So this foot should be bent. And when you look at it at speed, you can see that the left foot is a little stiff.
Yeah.
The right foot has a little bend in it, but the left foot it needs to have a little bend in it too. And that's just a really quick, easy, fast adjustment.
Okay.
Got
Thank
it.
you.
You're welcome. All right, Daisha W_V1. All right, so Daisha, that one looks like this. And we already talked about it, so that's okay. Reagan. Walk 2. All right, so and the repeat of the critique from this, just really quickly from last week, was that my suggestions were getting the whole drawing up off the edge of the screen so that we can see the feet, and then getting the arm so that it's not completely straight, loosen the arm up a little bit. And I think I made some comment about seeing if you could put in a little overlapping action on the hair or the ribbon to one of your classmates. I forget who it was. See if you can do that too, but definitely get the arm bent. It looks very robotic with the arm being really straight like that. It bends in the front a little bit, but then you return to that same keyframe. So get the arm loosened up a little bit. All right, so this is Chloe walk 2. And
Yeah.
then this is a new
I
one.
think that's the one I think that's the one I submitted earlier.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool.
All right, so
It's still work in progress, but I added my character on top of it and now I'm just cleaning it up.
all right, once again, feet bending good. Feet are moving pretty well. Body is going up and down. All right, so you did the same thing. You have the arms just rotating off.
Yeah.
So just now go in and just adjust the arms. What do you want to do? I think, look at it. Get out of your chair and walk. Sometimes it's easier to just do the straight position in the back.
Mhm.
So start with the front, and then the front is bent okay, but then when it's going into the back, just animate it so that it's more straight into the back position.
Okay, yeah. That sounds good.
And she should not be happy. She should be miserable, gloomy.
Okay.
She's just
I'll add that to my
watched,
list.
like a really terrible movie.
Okay, I'll add that to my to-do
Yeah,
list.
exactly. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you.
Angel WV2. Okay, so this is a new one, Angel. So this looks like a cleaned up version of the one from before, and the one before looked great. This one looks good too. It looks great. So with that ponytail, see if you can get some overlapping action in there. All right, and maybe I'll bring that one into Rough Animator and see if I can show you how to do that. All right, and then we've got Magnus.
It's been seen before, but yeah, it's the finished version of the first.
MM. But yeah, but I don't know if I saved it. Let me just, because right now I'm just making this folder.
Okay.
Yeah, we did see this. All right, and what are you doing to it? It's pretty good. It looks pretty good. What else are you planning on doing to it?
I think there was a thing with the foot that I had to fix.
Okay.
Forgot about that.
All right, so that all looks good. So now let's take a look at the run.
Hey, Billy.
Yes.
When we're redoing these, should we upload it to the same assignment or put
Yes.
it in the?
Yes, because if you see that It's a different class. So that if I go walk part 2 like this,
Mhm.
if I were to just see that there were grades in there, and there was a new thing on top of it, I wouldn't notice it. If I would see that there is a new thing in there when I do the speed grader thing. So who is talking? I didn't see the name.
It's Carmen.
Carmen. So,
Mhm.
so if I go to here and I look at you, then there's a list of uploads right here.
Okay.
So I can see that you did a May 4th and a May 8th. And this is open
Mhm.
all the way to the end of May. So if you put another one in there and I'm looking at it next week, just alert me, let me know that you put it into the walk part 2 folder. And then
Mhm.
there'll be a third one right here.
Okay.
So just tell me where to navigate to.
All right.
You tell me where to stick it. You were supposed to laugh, Chloe. You're so funny, Billy. All right, Victor, run. All right, so just the basic shell looks okay. I'm worried about one particular frame or maybe 2 frames. Let me identify them. So right away, I think that from your first keyframe, and sometimes this happens where you're not using the contact position as your first drawing. That's this one or this one should be your contact position. So if I start from here and then I go contact, down, passing. So right here, I think that what you want to do is make sure that on this particular frame, you don't see both hands. But then it's okay. It's not the most egregious error, but your very first frame, it's weird to have both hands out in front here. So figure out where this left hand should be going backwards. And so in the next frame, it moves backwards a little bit. And the next frame, it comes up a little bit. And then it can, so yeah, fix the position of the hands on the first drawing and on the second drawing, because those two it just looks like he's fighting with each other, right? And so the hands should be moving fast enough that they should never be in this position either for a keyframe or a breakdown position. So yeah, fix those and draw your arc out and put the numbers on your arc and figure out where, because it should be just a quick adjustment. And if you all haven't noticed it yet, that the amount of arm bending in a run is not even an issue. So it looks okay with the arm being just rotated. You don't have to put the arm straightening and bending in a run. But you do want to fix the first frame and the next keyframe afterwards. It'll just make it better.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Yolanda. So Yolanda, is this the same run? This last, this is May
If it's
11th.
version 2, it's an updated one.
Did you just update it?
No, I think it's after you reviewed it, I updated it to version 2. Yeah, it's late. Yeah, so
Well, no, this
that
is
one should
May
be up.
11th. That was last week.
Oh, okay.
That was last week, but it was before class started. So I think we saw this already. It's this
Oh,
one.
okay then. Yeah,
Yeah, this is this one.
then it's the same.
Hey. Okay. Carmen. Okay, so this looks new. This is today, Carmen.
Yeah, I tried to fix the hair, but I kind of struggled with it.
Well, I think it's working pretty well. No, I think that you didn't overdo it. So I
Okay.
think that the back of the hair is working fine.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like it's rotating, like if I put my cursor right there,
Yeah.
you can see that it's like rotating on a little pin. So my suggestion would be is just go in and change a few of those positions and make sure that you follow through. And so what I mean by that is that if you have got in your animation, you can see that one little bit of hair is this shape. And then in the next, it's the hair is going up and it's going to the same key point right here at the end of the tip of the hair.
Mm-hmm.
And just get one of them to flip downwards just a frame
Okay.
earlier. And these two pieces of hair don't have to be synchronized. You can get it to come down into the down position just a frame earlier, but never do an adjustment like this just for one frame. Do it for another frame just right after it, so that at least there's two, maybe even two or three, right?
Okay.
So that's just a really quick and subtle change right there. And then the fun thing is just going to be when she's all the way into the down position, which should be, drawing 5 or drawing 7, have this little hair flip up.
Okay.
And then again, so don't ever make a change unless you do it for 2 or 3 drawings in a row. So if you want to get the hair to flip up like this, take this position and move it up just a little bit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's drawing 1. For whatever the fix is, drawing 1 of the fix. And then all the way into the down position would be their 5, or more likely it's 7 because it's dragging behind it. You would use this position.
Okay.
This would be the first fix, the second fix, and then use this for the third fix as well. So if you have, it would be 5. Oops, sorry. Let me draw a better 5 for you. Drawing 5, drawing 7, and then drawing 9, and get this to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that dog's tail that we did wagging,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you go from this shape right here. So that's your 0 shape. And then you go from that into 1, 2, 3, and then back into the 0 shape. And that's a lot of motion. People will see this. Everyone will see that. And because it's the fastest thing moving on the screen, it's the one thing people will notice. Everything else is working really well, and you spend all this time and effort. But if when you do this, this is the only thing people will notice, because it's the thing that's moving fastest on the screen. And so,
Alrighty.
so just make those 3 drawing fixes perfect. And so in order to do that correctly, my suggestion is to save this CB_run-1, and then just save that, and then call it a different project completely, -2, and then fix it. So it's looking really good. But yeah, and the flip up on the hair doesn't have to be that great either.
Okay.
Flipping it over like I just did for you, like let me switch it to red so it's not quite so aggressive. So on that up, so if it's like this, that's pretty dramatic, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be exactly like that. You can try this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other thing that might work just as well is if it's just up off her head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do the first fix is like this. So this is drawing 1, this is drawing 2, and then drawing 3 again. Again, I think that the furthest up position on the hair is delayed because that's either on the down drawing, which is frame number 5 or frame number 7, and then you've got it.
Okay.
And again, the contact point here will matter where the line that on her beanie where it crosses her forehead,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not going to all pivot on the point that I've drawn it. But either one will work. This is a very typical overlapping action, but if you wanted to do something a little bit more cartoony, you can try that. Try both. It's easy. It's an easy fix.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. That's looking good. Reagan. Okay, so first of all, Reagan, are you with me on microphone? Reagan, okay, so I think you're here, you're just being quiet. So first of all, let's fix the arms. So you've got the arms that are bent in the back position. So I'm just going to draw like this to represent the line that is the upper and lower arm. And I think it's bent in the back, which is fine. It's definitely bent, but you make it straight in this front here. And I think that you should take this and make sure that it's either the same or bend it even more. So get the wrist position to have an arc of motion that is up quite a bit higher. And so don't do the stiff arm while the arm is in the front position. Definitely bend the arm. Bend the arm. The feet look okay. The up and down motion on the body, it's okay. It's a very fast trot. And so because of that, the forward lean that you've got, it's really not that crazy. It's just 1 or 2 degrees. You could have rotated this quite a bit more. You could have taken that body and head and given it 20 or 15 degrees forward lean, but that's okay. I think that if you were going to try it again, that the first thing that we mentioned was get the head, neck, and body into the forward lean. Remember, there's still a line of action in there. But this is okay. Get that arm to bend. And then I'm just gonna go with frame by frame here. I noticed that you've got a nice, let me go back to Zoom. Distance from the hip to the knee, and then a distance from the knee to the ankle. And these two are shared for sure. And if I was looking at my arc of motion, I would say that your run should look something like this. All right, so that's your first key position. And so when I set this in motion here in just a moment, I want you to pay attention to these lengths, these distances, because I think that they shorten up a little bit. So let's go frame by frame. So just that lower right leg looks like it shrinks a little bit. So I'd be careful there. But then I think this is catching my eye. It would be just a simple adjustment to make sure that the lower leg is not too short. So that's my critique here is get the arm bent in the front position and then make sure that the lower leg is not too short. Keep the feet in the same position. They're correct, they're fine, but just make sure that you might want to redirect the distance between the upper leg and the lower leg, because if I clear this and I alert you to it, it's like there are a few drawings in there where the lower leg is diminishing. So in the adjustment, you might have to raise the knee up just a little bit, but it's looking pretty good. Thank you, Reagan. Deborah. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I'm noticing a funky thing happening with the arms. Forward, I'm looking at just the right arm. Forwards, that's a big jump right there. So Deborah, I'm gonna draw over this just for a little bit. So one thing that I wanna mention here again is that what you should do when you're animating something like this is always give yourself an arc of motion. What is it going to be? The one hand is not going to go into the other position without following an arc like this. And it could be even deeper depending on whether your arm is straight or bent or what have you, right? And so then you number this out. You say I've got either 10 or a 12 drawing cycle. And if, let's say if it's 10, that this is drawing 1, and then you've got 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then it goes back 6, 7, 8, and then the cycle starts over again. Actually, that's just for 8. So the other arm is doing the thing, it's going backwards. So this arm goes forwards and then backwards again. But when we look at this frame by frame, so I see how that right arm is moving forwards a little bit. So it moved from the furthest key position on the left, and then it moved like a 1/4 of an inch, and then another 1/4 of an inch. But then in the very next drawing, it jumps from here all the way to this position again. Watch. And it looks like the hands reverse themselves. So you've got to put this position, at least this position, in for your hand and wrist position, because it cannot, it really should not just replace the other hand. Because then it makes it look like it's not moving. It's strange. So you've got to get this 4th drawing into this key position here. And then the drawing after that, it goes up and then up higher and then back again. And then should be that, see what happened? It does it again on the way back. So at speed, it looks like your hand is sticking in space right there, because in one frame, the right arm is there. And then in the very next frame, the left hand. So it is, so don't do that. It ends up sticking and stuttering your animation. So go back to this arc and make sure that the wrist is moving correctly. Because I think that you've got 2, 3 drawings that are really close together right here. And that with just a simple fix, you can move the 4th position here. And you might only need to do that on the right arm. So see if you can just adjust the right arm and see if that fixes it.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Deborah.
thank you.
All right, James.
Hey.
All right, so you do the same thing. You look at the feet. Stay away from square formatting. Right, this square screen is really dedicated to social media, and so try to use the 16:9 ratio that I spoke of.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
But you've got something. The feet are moving okay. The arms are moving okay. The head and neck are moving okay. But I'm going to put this right where his belly is. And you can see that you need to make some adjustments right in here. And this is why I like to draw the head, neck, and body all as one unit, so that you can move that up and down within your keyframes, because then you're not going to get this error that you have. It looks like his butt's not moving. So if I'm going to draw this green line right here, like how could it be that his head is moving up and down?
What do you know? Stationary butt. I didn't
Got a
realize.
stationary butt.
Yeah,
so-
there you go.
So I think that you just need to figure out which butt lines to adjust.
So kind of like move the butt up and down with the same rhythm as the head.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And stick to your 16:9 format.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And Vivian. Okay, so you see what I did here on the playback, Vivian?
Mhm.
So you've got a really good amount of up and down motion on the head, and the overlapping action on the ears is really good. I like it. The hands and the legs are working pretty well, but you've got the shoulder stuck.
Oh,
You see what I did? I put the little playhead right there.
yeah.
You can see the crosshair just hovering right above that line, which is just, that's inconceivable. How could his head be moving up and down
Okay.
and his tail and his whole body moving up and down? Everything else looks really good, but here's the easiest way to fix this. Here's the easiest way to make this adjustment. You should have a working art layer that shows you the upper and lower position. So this is like the contact position. And then this is the down position. And then this is the passing position. And then this is the up position of the head. And it should look something like this. I think mine might be a little exaggerated. Yours might look like this. Might be just a little closer together than mine, which is fine, right? Right? So use
Yeah.
the same thing, contact, down, passing, and up. So contact, down, passing, and then up. And then do the same thing with this pivot right here.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully you've got the arm, at least the right arm. You probably don't even need to adjust the left arm, but just move. So if this arm is not moving at all, right? If it's just sticking on it, like the little line I just drew right there, it's pivoting on it. Oh my God, you know? So all you need to do is go to frame 5 and move it down, right?
Mhm.
Just take the whole arm on frame 5 and move it down a little bit. Leave 1 and 9 alone. And then whatever the up position is, or this could be 7. In a run cycle, it's usually 7. So in 9, just move it up a little bit. And so leave all the other ones where they are, but just where you need it to go down or up, just take that whole arm and move it down a little bit by this much. And then on the other one, move it up a little bit. And then on the corresponding frames on the other side, just move that keyframe down just a little bit. And then the other one up just a little bit and you're done.
Okay.
It looks good. The overlapping action on the ears is really believable. It looks good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Angel. So this looks great. You followed my lead. It looks great. And I think that what we'll do is, I think I'll just put this one over here because the overlapping action on the hair is going to be the same as the walk. So you've got the walk here. And you can pick when we go into our next session here, you can pick whether I'll do the overlapping action for the walk or run, but it looks good.
Thank you, Professor.
Magnus.
Aye, aye.
Hello, hello. Okay, it looks good. There's a strange little squish on his head for a frame.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So-
I thought the torso was a little too skinny, so I tried to widen it, and I had to widen it for every frame. So
And you did it manually, so
yeah.
what I would do if I were you, and I'm not because that would be really painful, is go back and because I think the run is working pretty well. Go back and redraw the head. You know,
Okay.
give yourself a new head. You know, whatever his shape looks like, you know, use more of a, yeah, you've got a strange shape right there. Whatever that head ends up being, you know, you've got the jaw, the nose, make it 3D, give him the eye, he's mad, give him his ear. It might be better if you start out with like a better silhouette, something like this. And I apologize for the drawing quality in Zoom. But this ear breaking the plane like this might be better for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I see a
then-
tangent.
And then giving his hair and then like a little part in his hair.
Mhm.
And then something, you know, something like that. And then I think that let's give him his little sideburn. So that's just an improvement on the design. And you can make him angry if you want, that's fine. And then
More
just
of a-
copy and paste this head into the new position or into the same positions that you've got. And I think that should be a good fix. And then remember, when you're doing that, that you follow your arc, right? Contact
Yeah.
down, passing up, contact down, whatever your numbers are, passing and up. And your numbers can be wildly different than my example. If you're following some other drawing online, it could be on 8s, it could be on 10s or 12s. So whatever numbers they are for contact down, passing it up, just draw a new head and copy and paste it. And I think it'll look better.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
thank you, Magnus. And Ryan,
Think we saw mine.
that was from last week,
Yeah.
looked like this. Were you in class for my critique though?
I think so.
Let me actually open this one, hold on. Because I'm trying to remember what I was catching my eye about this. Oh, I think it was a good thing. You've got a nice little bit of overlapping action in the back of his head, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's working pretty well. If you could go in there and just take each
Connect the
frame,
lines.
and just kind of give it a cleaner look, because you've got a nice little sketchy rough
Yeah.
quality to the upper body. So if you can just tighten up the lines for the legs, I think it'll you just want a uniform kind of quality to it. But it's looking pretty good.
Thank you.
Looking pretty good. You're welcome. All right, and then Juan. All right, so that one looks like this from last week.
as last week, yeah.
Okay. And do you remember anything I said about it? Looks
It
like-
was the hands that they line up.
just like the other classmate of yours. Oh, right, because they're in strange positions out here. So yeah, make that adjustment.
Yeah.
And technically it looks like that he's beating himself in the back with his right hand.
Okay.
So, I mean, just look at it. It looks kind of funny that way.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend is, again, just drawing that arc through. And in this example, really, truly, if this wrist is going to go to this position, it's got to come like all the way down here. And then just draw out your positions, wherever they are, however many drawings you have in the cycle. And then number them very carefully, because when you're in your movement, look how far down that hand went. See, that's crazy, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can do that, but then you go back to the arc and then you miss a frame. So it goes from behind him to all the way in front. And so those two drawings are right on top of each other, just like your classmate. Yeah,
Okay.
don't do this. This is a very bad thing in animation to do. And then it probably happens that on the back side, it happens again. So the rest of the drawings in the arc change. So you've got this arm all the way up here. So I think that what you need to do is just make the decision. Do you want to be here for your forwards keyframe, or do you want to be here? Because then that'll change your arc here. But then when you go back to the very first drawing, if you wanted to go here, that would change this arc like that. So you've got two different arcs working. You've got one, sorry. You got one or two. So just be clear about it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to erase my thing. Delilah.
This is from last week.
That looks good,
Yes.
right? Yeah, that looks
Yes.
good. That looks good. Okay.
Thank you.
And Tristan.
Yeah, I made a new one.
You made it.
Submitted a new one.
Something's clicking with the hands. The feet look like they're okay, but something's clicking with the hands. So I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to let that play. And we're going to figure this out. So you've got a wrist position here. You've got another one here. You've got a wrist position here and another one here. So that means your arc should be something like this. Okay. Are you following me?
Yes.
Or, something like that. So that means that there should be a key here and another key here. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then my guess is you have 10 drawings in this run cycle. But something is not lined up correctly with these positions. So if I go back to QuickTime and I stop it, it's not pausing. There we go. So let me go back to the very first drawing. This is the very first. So if I click on this one, so I'm just following this hand right here, right now. And then it goes there. So that's too close. So the hand is always moving pretty quick in a run cycle. And the reason why I placed these key positions like this is because it should continuously move quick, right?
Right.
So if it moves a good half an inch right here, that means it should move a half an inch in the next drawing too, and that's way too close. So it looks like it slows down.
Okay.
And it disappears, that's fine. But then it goes backwards. So this is, so something is wrong there.
Oh, shoot.
So go draw this arc out, whatever you have in your file. And so now let's follow the front arm. It goes down a lot. That's okay. So that drawing is not correct either. It should move quite a bit more in this drawing, but then the changeover, that's not right. So that means that this arm, the left arm right here, is behind his body and we can't see it. And then in the very next drawing, it's way out in front again. So you got to fix the arms. Make sure you draw this arc and very carefully plot out where each frame is so that you know where the wrist position is so you can fix it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it clicking, right?
Yeah, I honestly did not notice that.
I think the head and body are funky looking, but they're okay. And the frames for the feet are working okay. We're at the first frame, following. Yeah, the feet are funky, but they're working. There's a couple of legs that are too big or a couple of legs that are too small, but the head and legs are working okay. See if you can adjust the arms and
Okay.
hand. See it clicking? Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to always catch all these things, but it's just years of training in the academy. Wasted. Sorry, I was trying to do Buzz Lightyear. All right, let us take a break. Let's take 15, and when we come back, I will look at the look at that. Now they're winning by almost 35 points. OMFG. Here we go. Water splash. Did you put it in the water splash?
I did, yes.
Okay. That was Angel, right?
Yep.
Chloe.
Sorry, yes.
I'm going to try to figure out how to do a water splash as a pop-up book.
Oh, wait, send me a picture when you've done it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, so this is pretty good, Angel. The timing is good. The shapes are good. Maybe a couple of suggestions how to make it even better. I'm going to set this on loop, and then I'm going to go back to Zoom. All right, so I set it on loop. I'm gonna maybe jump back over to QuickTime and see if I can isolate a frame. You know, some of these lines are just a little wobbly, but like on this frame right here, or even that frame, let's go backwards to this one. I think the improvement could just really, truly be looking at it frame by frame. And so you've got this happening. You've got this cone happening for sure. But in my demo, remember that the very next drawing had this cone coming up even more. It rises up a little more. And so give yourself another frame between this one and the next one where you can really start playing with these shapes. You can really start just getting that water to really have some really wonderful shapes in there. You know, so what you've got is good, it's working, but really get in there and look at the Joe Gilland examples that you can see online and really see if you can just add that amount of frames to the very next frame. Then remember, the way that this works is that even on this frame, there should be at least one or maybe even two little ripples that are happening. So get the ripple happening. Your rock came in kind of like this, but I would bring it in like this, just to make sure that the offset of the water is believable. So here we'll go back to QuickTime and I'll play it. Oh, so I misguessed. So it's right in between those. See if you can just readjust it so that the line that the ball is coming in is here. It'll look better, I promise you.
Okay.
It'll look better, I promise you. And that's just an easy fix. But then remember that, so on that frame that I stopped it on this frame right here, that, you know, this frame could use a little bit of love, but then there should be another frame after that frame that looks like the one I'm drawing. And then, let me see if you have it. Oh yeah, so once this happens, your water is going to hit the ground plane. Remember that the little droplets of water do have a perspective to them, but you're missing that secondary plunk. See if you can get that in there too.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Billy.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. All right, refresh. A quick shout out, did anybody else upload to, I see that there's some scripts with gestures I need to grade. Walk or run, walk or run.
I tried to fix the foot in my walk 2 one.
Okay, I can hear you, but I can't see your name. Who is that?
Carmen.
Carmen. And that was the walk or the run?
The walk part 2. I tried to fix the foot.
Just now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And why do you say tried? Were you not successful?
I don't know. I did fix it.
Oh, that was an easy fix. Oh yeah, perfect. Looks great.
Cool.
So she is moving enough that you could have some overlapping action in the hair for the walk and this part here. So we'll do that in a little bit.
Okay.
I'll save this file. I'm going to try it with all 3 of these, right? And then you can see what just that overlapping action, asynchronous overlapping action with the hair and her little bangs. It'll make it look even better.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. This way. All right, and then we've got run, catch, jump. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna download these, but I'm not gonna save them. Yeah, I might. 1 second.
Oh yeah, Angel just said that he uploaded 8 things in chat.
Okay, to the walk or to the run?
He said pendulum, smoke redux, redo, Pixie dust, both walks, gestures, and script with gestures.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Thanks for relating that. I'm going to make a note. Who is that talking? Magnus?
Yeah, Angel uploaded a whole bunch
You were
of stuff.
talking, and you were
Angel
talking-
M.
Angel M. Okay, got it. All right, I'll go back and look at those, Angel. Hopefully we can do it today. All right. Okay, great. Okay, so jump looks good. All right, so here's something to think about. Are you ready, Yolanda?
Yes.
All right, so as I'm going through this frame by frame, this foot hits the ground plane. When it hits the ground plane, you've already told the audience that camera is following along with this. And in fact, the flowers keep moving. So you do move this foot right here, and that's good. But when he hits here, I think your feet go backwards. So right here is where, on this drawing, is where both feet hit the ground. And so I would say, draw an arc of motion for yourself and make sure that however fast these flowers are moving, that you take this drawing and move it to the left that equal amount of space. So let me do this. Hopefully this will make sense to everyone. And I can't draw green, a green on top of green. Paint your guy a neutral earth tone color, because he's blending in with the background. So what I'm saying here is that your feet land right here. Your heel lands right there. And these flowers are moving about this far every frame. And so for the very next drawing after this, make sure that you move him this way, that amount, because on the very next drawing that you have, his feet go forward, and that's opposite. So right now the camera should be still following. His feet hit the ground, and they should, so this drawing needs to be over here. This drawing needs to be over here for the anticipation. And then, and then as and this drawing too needs to continue to move to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
So just draw out what you discover is basically the speed of your camera movement. And you'll see that it makes a completely different look and feel. Just copy everything and move it to the left just a little bit. Or however much that is. And then, and you'll see that when he's in the air, that the ground, you have the flowers are not moving anymore, right? So that's fine. And then when he lands, the flowers are still not moving. So all you have to do then is get your recoil, get him to stand up. And be happy, right? So he's going to rise. So if this is his final position, this is technically in anticipation. This is the arc of movement for that head position. And you might need 1, 2, 3 drawings in order to get there. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
It looks fun. We have Carmen.
This is very rough.
Oh, stop it. It's probably ready for the movies.
Oh no, it's little stick figure guys.
Perfect, perfect.
I'm just trying to figure out my timing kind of.
It's an owl,
It's gonna be like a little dragon.
a dragon. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm worried just about one thing, and that is that he's like, hey, you get the stick, right? So then you have collision.
Mhm.
What is he colliding with?
I was going to have like, so like the girl is trying to teach the dragon how to fly, so she's like flapping her arms, and then when it does start flying, it like is gonna crash with a bird and like a
Oh, I see.
cut,
Okay.
and then it falls and she like jumps to catch it.
Okay.
I couldn't really figure out how to do a diving jump though, since she's like already supposed to be running forward and jumping.
Right. So right here, you start the run and your camera starts moving.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to draw something right here
Mm-hmm.
that moves to the left. So that gives the audience a clue, a visual clue that he is moving to the right and the dragon is moving to the right as well. And
Okay.
then just animate the bird coming in and colliding.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could just have like all kinds of strange feathers and dragon wings and stuff, a big scramble right here. Because then I think that you've got the idea, he's just gonna, the camera is still moving. So whatever this thing is, and if we look at this character teaching a dragon,
Mm-hmm.
then there could be something very simple like a silhouette of a castle. So if it's right here and you just have like a strange little castle or something. Okay, so it's not strange anymore, it's elaborate. And so all you do is you take this castle thing that you've got, however you want to do this, whatever you think, and then make it, just copy and paste it so it's moving that way, the same number of frames.
Okay.
Just copy and paste it and follow one particular registration line so that throughout your entire shot, it's continually moving, because that's the whole trick here, is to make it look like that the camera is following them. Because when it gets into the jump part of it, you want to make sure that it looks like they're both characters right here. It's still moving to the right.
Yeah.
And so get that, and in this castle here, don't paint it black, paint it like a medium gray. Because the trick is that what you're doing is you're kind of emulating what's called atmospheric perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me just, have you ever heard that before?
Yeah.
You have. So just for everybody else, the idea of atmospheric perspective is that the things that are up and close to the camera are always dark and full of details. And then the haze, the smog, the fog, the rain, the water, the wind, the clouds makes everything that's further away from it lighter and lighter and lighter. This is an actual photograph, right? So the first one I give you is possibly a photograph too, but the light is a little odd. But the cinematic theory, it's called atmospheric perspective. It's also called aerial perspective. But just always make the things that are near the camera darker and more detailed. And as things go away from camera, that they're lighter and less detailed. So your castle would be in the midground.
Mm-hmm.
So just make your castle gray or whatever it is. If I think a castle might, or a witch's lair or something like that, a coven of witches.
Mm-hmm.
And then just make sure that thing moves the same amount of same distance every single frame. Once you do that, I think you'll find that your animation is working pretty good.
Okay.
You know, here, I want you to fly, flap, 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 flap. You know, so right here, then the camera starts to move
Mm-hmm.
and the bird comes in. And right there, as long as that castle is moving, that it'll look like the characters were still moving to the right. And then as soon as they land right here, as soon as he lands, she lands right here, then stop the castle.
Okay.
Then stop it. So whatever frame this is, right at 14 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fun. Definitely fun. Timing looks okay. Maybe speed up the jump and the fall.
Mhm.
You know, what do you have it on right now? Do you have it on 4s?
I don't know. What do I have it on right now?
Well, whatever it is, speed it up.
Okay.
Just that little part, just the run, just the jump and the catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do have it on 4s right now.
So put it on 2s, just those few drawings, and you'll see that it'll be that much snappier of timing.
Okay.
Looks
Thank you.
good. Looks fun. Reagan. Okay. So I'll buy this. So in this example, the camera is not moving, which is fine. So if that's true, Reagan, are you with me on microphone?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's true, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my mouse right here, right where her heel is. And I'm just going to make sure I'm in QuickTime. So right now I'm just going to move forward. That's wrong. So if she's moving across the stage, right? Then that means as soon as this foot lands, it can't go that far. So that foot is, the heel is actually contacting the ground plane right there. And if the very next drawing it's over here, that's like she's landed on a stick of butter or an ice cube or something, and she would literally fall. So take this drawing and reposition it so that the heel is locked onto the ground plane right there. And then that's gonna look. So take this one and slide it over. And then the next one is gonna have to slide that over to its position as well. And then this one.
I know that's a problem with all of them. I was having trouble with the timing of everything. So I know the foot's not at all in the proper place for a lot of these. And I'm gonna
look,
go back and fix it.
So look at this one. So the camera is not moving, right? And in this, oops, sorry. So in this frame right here, she should be launching off the ground, but instead she like catapults really far forward. So get those heels lined up correctly, and you'll see that she's gonna, and the flying through the air is okay, right? But then you're gonna have to move all of those over too, just so that the arc is correct, because that part's right. And then she lands, and that's fine. And you'll find that she's gonna actually land about right here. Okay.
Okay.
You'll see that her heel's gonna stick right here, and then she's gonna come up and she's gonna land about right here. So all you have to do is reposition them and it'll be infinitely better. So now that I've said that, watch how she slides. See that little slide? Whoa, whoa, right? You know, and if she was to slide that much, her feet would come out from underneath her and she'd do a backward somersault. But I think that all you have to do is is line up everything a little better and you'll be infinitely more happy with it.
Okay.
Okay? Looks good though. It'll look better once you get everything lined up. And Ryan. Okay, good. All right, so Ryan, are you on microphone with me?
Yep.
Okay, so make sure that you give yourself a ground plane. If I bring this little playhead down, I can see that your ground plane is about halfway through the playhead. And you're kind of upsetting the rules of action and title safe because he's just a little too close to the ground. He's a little too close to the edge of the screen. I mean, it's okay. But you've got these big feet. And on this drawing right here, the feet disappear. And the appearance is that, especially on this one, the appearance is that it looks like the feet are just going out of camera. And I think that this is going to be more successful for you if you go into your project and you draw yourself a ground plane that is around right here. And a horizon that is about right. So move all your feet up to about here. They don't have to be that high. Hold on, hold on. It's not behaving, hold on. So this could be your horizon. So just let that be anything. It could be, a bunch of trees back there or something. You could just dress it up really simply. But then have this be your ground plane. So that move all of your feet contact positions here. And then on this one, you're gonna have to move all your drawings up by about an inch or so. So this drawing will be up about here. And then make sure that you have the feet in there, because it definitely looks like the feet are going outside the screen. And then I like this drawing right here. I like this idea that he's like, hey, what did I just do? Slow this down. So for these drawings right here, go from 2s to 4s to 8s to 16, and then hold this last drawing for 24 frames, even 36 frames, just because he's like, hey, that hurt, and are you going to have him stand up?
Depends how much time I have.
Right, but definitely make those corrections.
Okay.
And I think it'll be fun.
All right.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, let me put this away and refresh. Okay, good. So remember that this is extra credit, emphasis on the walk and the run. So make sure everyone's got files in here for next week. Please, please, please. At least part 2 for walk and run, and we will go through that next week. I will grade all this stuff shortly here. I will get grades in there over the next week. All right. So what I'd like to do now in the last little bit here is just give you an idea how to do good overlapping action. And Angel M, I will look at your stuff tonight or tomorrow or something like that. So don't worry, I will look at it. I have my note. right here. All right.
While you're taking those notes, I did submit for Ray Barnes. I put in script with gestures and gestures.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. I haven't done this before. Let's see how this works. What I've done is I've just started a brand new file in Rough Animator. And we're going to look at this file, which is a walk cycle, and this walk is a run cycle. And this is AM run. So I believe it should work if I just file import video. And I'm looking at my desktop and I'm looking at AM run. All right, so in Rough Animator, it brought your file in as frames. So I should be able to just play it. Whee, you can play it, right? It's coming in as a .move, so I'm not sure if I can erase anything. Let me see if I can erase. Oh, I can. So let's talk about overlapping action, just on this ponytail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another layer, and I'm going to call this one just my arc layer. And what I need to do is I need to identify what's going on with your motion. So this is my arc layer. And so everyone should already have this for your walk or your run. But because this is not mine, I am doing this new. So I'm going to draw a line. Oops, forgot. So this is frame 1. I'm going to keep this arc out to the end of the walk, the run. I'm going to go to the next frame, draw on the arc. So it's going down here. So this is frame 2. Now this is frame 3. So I'm just watching where the head is going. So then this is frame, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. So this is frame 3. And it's also frame 4. Frame 5 is right here. Frame 6 is right there. Frame 7 is right here. Frame 8 is in the same place as 2. Frame 9 is in the same place as 2. Frame 10 is in the same place as 3 and 4. Frame 11 is in the same place. And remember, this can happen. And frame 12 is in the same place right here. It just makes it a little more difficult because when I draw this out, what I want to know is I want to know what this looks like. So I'm going to say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this particular frame right here is 10, 11, and 12. So that's why it's working. It's because there is an oscillation there. So now what happens is that the positioning of keys number 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12, they appear to be on 2s. So sorry, I forgot whose thing I'm working on here. This is Angel. So I think that if you wanted to be consistent about it being on 2s, that technically you would want to move this 9 position into the 7 position, or I'm sorry, the 8 position into the 9 position, and then the 10 position into the 9 position. That way everything would block up on 2s. As it is working okay. But what I want to know is I want to know my down position, just as it is right here. And the down position is 2 and 8 and 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing a layer. I'm going to say this is the new hair. I'm going to move this up on top of everything. Okay, and I'm going to just make this a different color. I'm going to make it red. I'm going to make it brown. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow your first hair. All right, and so this is a good way to work, everyone, is that if you wanted to put overlapping action in an item like hair or scarf or anything that's dangling off the character, animate it just stuck to the head first. Because then on your arc layer, you can figure out that, so I'm on my arc layer right now, that you can figure out where it starts from and how you want to flip it. And so just like our flag animation or the dog's tail animation, this little tip has to move on an arc. And so again, I'm drawing on my arc layer here. So it can't disappear. It has to move on an arc somewhere. We know that the contact position between the end of the ponytail and the little barrette, it moves up and down with these numbers here. You know, when I'm ready, I could just turn that off. I'm gonna turn my arc layer off. But we start right here. So as the head is going up, we want to take this shape and make it longer. So that's what we're doing when the head goes up. When the head goes down, we want to take this shape and either have it go like this, or as the head goes down, we go from this and we could flip it. We could totally flip it. So this is the A version. This is more realistic. This is more cartoony. Let's do the realistic one. All right, so the hair's on 1s. So in this drawing right here, oops, I had to add a drawing. The head is coming down. Let's turn our onion skin on. And that's where it came from. That's where this came from right here. So in the second drawing, what we're going to do is we're going to say, just very quickly, the contact point is going to stay there. This part is going to stay there. So what's happening is that this part's moving down for sure, but the air has a resistance to it. So it's staying right where it used to be, just for a frame or two. So it goes down, but the tip of it stays where it used to be. Add a drawing after. Now it's coming back up again. So now we start here again. And now because there was a down and up movement going into position 3, it might be more easy for us to flip this the other way, just on this frame. So we're going to point that downwards. All right, now it goes up even more, so that's good. We're going to borrow this part because this part is stuck to the barrette. So now it's going to stay the same shape, but it is going to move up a little bit. All right, and we'll do the next drawing. And this drawing continues to move up. So what we'll do is we'll borrow again, the first part of the hair. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our arc of motion here and go, this drawing here might want to be a little longer. So let's keep that in mind, because when we get to this drawing, if we draw this coming up, it's off of our arc right here. So what we can do is we're going to just flatten this out a little bit. All right, and then we're going to add a drawing. And now it's starting to come back down again. So again, draw from what was working. And now we're going to connect these two, because this tip right here is in the air. There's no bones or steel in it or anything. So it's going to stay in the same position, but the hair is coming down now. All right, and then it's coming down further. So in this drawing, it can almost be exactly where it used to be. So we're just going to copy the same exact hair. We're on drawing 7. So we know it's going to go down 2 and then up 3. Now it's going down. So now the same thing happens where we borrow the same volume of stuff attached to the thing that's moving, but this stays where it was. This tip stays right where it was. All right, and then it's going down again, but it stays there. So what we can do in this example is we can almost just bring it down, like gravity is bringing it down. All right, now we're in frame. Now we have 3 more drawings to get back into drawing number 1. So let's just see what it looks like without these 3 drawings right here, just before we go any further. All right, so it's moving too fast. Let's just take a look at it frame by frame. All right, let's continue, because it's moving it too fast means that we have to slow this action down here. We have 10, 11, and 12 are in the same contact position. So what we want to do is we just want to in between this to get it back where it was. Right here. And then we're keeping it basically the same shape. We're just in betweening it to get it back to the very first keyframe, because you want it to loop. And in order to get it to loop, you're going to have to connect these. So I'm going to just nudge this one just a little bit to get it back into that very first keyframe. Just one thickness of a line. Right now, let's see what it looks like. All right, so now what we'll do is, because it's almost working, I think that little flip over might have to be fixed. Well, what we can do is on the run itself, we can just take the hair and we can move it. Could just delete it. It's going to look funny moving over there by itself. This is the drawing we're going to have to fix. That flip over isn't quite working. We're going to have to really tone it down a little bit. It's almost like her ponytail has a lot of hairspray in it. All right, and without the original ponytail behind, we should get a good look at the ideas that we just had in the new ponytail. Okay, so now with this one, we definitely want to make sure that the ponytail is hooked up to the little beret. So going frame by frame, we're going to make sure that it's connected. And I think this flip over here is a little much. So we're going to tone this down. We're just going to let it come down in the same shape it was. But we're gonna fix this one too. This is not working. So it's going up, so this part can go down. Just make it subtle, just down a little bit. And I think this one needs to be fixed too. All right, I think the rest of them are okay. Let's go backwards. Just make sure that the beret and the ponytail are hooking up correctly. And it can be just this simple. Sometimes just wiggling it around a little bit works as overlapping action. But following the up and down movement. Yeah, sorry about this. Don't look at that. So I think that that works. I do think that right in here that the hair might want to flatten out a little bit. Flatten out just a little bit. Sometimes I do this in another color. Something like that. So that's the easiest way to do it, is to think that the head is going up. That means the hair should go down. Just that reciprocal motion thing that we were talking about. The next thing that I would want to do here is go back in and make sure it's not losing volume. It's a couple of the drawings that I did here are a little too skinny. And that's as simple as you can get. That's as simple as it goes. The other cartoony version would be is really good at the flip over. But I wanted to warn you just about this notion right here, is that if you do this, this action right here is fast. This action right here is equal. I'll just put an E right here. It's equal to the amount of motion that's going on with all the other parts in the upper body, so that the fastest thing is the legs. And it is a proven cinematic proof. It's not even a theory, it's a proof that the fastest thing on the screen is what your eyes will see. That's what your eyes will see first. So when we play this, the audience is going to see the feet and the hands moving. And the third thing that they would see is this little overlapping action on the hair. If you wanted to do this cartoony thing, it might interfere with the movement on the hands and the feet, and you'd have to get it absolutely perfect. So it's just something to think about. You go through this whole thing and you do the run, and you got all this work put into it, you got all this thinking, and all of a sudden you try something cartoony, and all of a sudden it just looks odd or weird or weak, and you have to fix it. But do remember that the fastest thing is that your eyes will see the thing that's moving fastest on the screen. Lots of hairspray. Okay, good. Anything new right here? Okay. So just a reminder, I will look at Angel's and Ray's stuff here just as class closes, and put some grades in there. I will grade this stuff. I will not grade the walk and the run until more than likely Friday or Saturday of next week. So you have tons of time to think about your other classes. You're all doing extremely well here for me, for us, for this class. And so it's just all good. And remember that because of the, what did I do here? Oh, I see. Because of the synchronous nature of Zoom, that you've actually done a ton of work for a beginning class like this. 25, 30, maybe even 40% more than we would have been able to handle with just paper on drawing tables. And that's good. And I like my decision of making that run, catch, jump thing extra credit. And it doesn't hurt you if you don't do it, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I will see you all next week. Anybody have any questions, comments, complaints?
I do actually. It just popped into my head right now, but I also have gestures and a script with gestures that I put in. I think like a couple weeks ago. I completely forgot about it.
Angel C, I gotcha. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Anybody else? Let me see.
So just to clarify, so all that's left to really turn in is the run cycle.
The run and walk, yeah.
Run and walk,
If some people are not done with their walk.
Okay.
Yeah, the emphasis is on walk and run.
Okay.
I will give extra
Awesome.
credit for anyone who does even gestural work on the run, catch, jump. Okay,
Billy,
yes,
I also have a few things that I turned in.
gotcha, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? I thought I saw Daisha. Daisha was here.
Oh, for the walk cycle. So I know there's walk part 1 and walk part 2.
That was just like making sure that you all knew what folder to put it in.
Okay.
So in walk part 1 is 400 points, but walk part 2 is just like late, missing, redo. It's only worth 1 point.
I see. So if I haven't turned in either, it should go into the part 2 folder.
Just put it in part 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you all next week. Happy filing.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good luck.
Billy.
Good night.
Professor.
Bye.
Have a good one.
And thank you for fixing my ponytail as well.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, random, Professor.
What's that?
Random, but I kind of went to the bathroom on this part. Someone told me you hate the Yankees.
Oh no, yeah. When you're discussing sports, it's like unfair that the greater New York area has like 25 million people in it.
Yeah.
And every single game for the last 35 years has been sold out. And so the franchise just has tons of money to buy the most expensive players. And
Definitely.
it's not the Yankees, it's like the fastest,
Dodgers.
and the Dodgers too, because they can buy the most expensive players, and it doesn't make it fair for all the other teams.
I totally agree. I'm one of the biggest baseball nerds, and I will tell you the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers and the Red Sox are just my most disliked team because of how much money they have.
Yeah.
And teams for like the A's who barely have enough.
Yeah.
And they would keep good players if they had like Matt Olson. He had to leave because obviously better deals everywhere. People with money. It just frustrates me, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yep. I think that the commissioners in baseball, football, hockey, and basketball at one point or another tried to even it out. They put salary caps on there, and then the teams made it really difficult for the commissioner to stop that, because then they were giving like signing bonuses. They were giving bonuses that if a football player made 100 receptions in a year or whatever that number was, that they would get a huge bonus. And you actually saw this with one team where the coach wanted to take the receiver out, and I forget what team it was, but the quarterback said, no, you're staying in. You've got to get one more pass to get your bonus.
Uh-huh.
They did this stupid little pass that got 1 yard, but it garnered him like $500,000 bonus.
Holy moly.
It was like, that's not fair.
Definitely.
It takes sports to like this really unfair level.
Yeah, and especially in baseball, like say Dodgers, they buy like the best pitchers in the entire like how are you gonna hit on the best pitcher? And when they have the money and they're taking all the best pitcher, it's just I don't know, it's frustrating. And I don't watch football much, but I can see how that applies. It's just bizarre to me. And that's why I like teams like the A's.
So my theory is that I usually, I'll watch a game or two during the regular season of anything, but I don't like get fanatical about any of it. Because I was when the Niners were winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl, and it was incredible to watch Steve Young and Jerry Rice. It was amazing. Or when the Warriors were winning the championship 3 years in a row. I mean, they had a winning streak of like 38 games or something.
Holy cow.
It was like that was amazing. And everyone's just like standing in the sideline just watching how great they are. That's fun. And it's definitely fun watching a team that you like win a championship. But then you look at it and you say, well, where did all those players go?
Right.
Where did Durant go? And why is LeBron James always just bashing into players and making an offensive foul every time he gets the ball and not getting called on it? Or why is LeBron James not getting called for traveling because he travels every single time he gets the ball? It's like,
favoritism.
Hey. Yeah, so that's where I was that's where I was on a rant.
Yeah, and you I don't know if did you watch the Giants when they like won the World Series like 3 times?
Oh, sure. Yeah, my 2 sons were like crazy. The first year that they won, my son ran around the block in his bare feet. And I was like, okay, we live in San Francisco. We live in a good neighborhood. There's probably not a lot of broken glass. Nick, stay on the sidewalk. If he's running in the street, there's all kinds of stuff in the street, but yeah, he didn't get cut.
I'm sure there's a lot of cars and stuff, especially in the city. Like I know what we did is we were on the car, we went in the what is it, the roof, and we just waved a flag to the city, and there's so much traffic. I know some people were like burning stuff, but like I know the city was crazy, so I'm surprised your son was running around barefoot with all those people honking and celebrating.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I
thanks,
just wanted to
thank you,
hear
Angel.
your rants. All right, thank you
Yeah,
for everything.
Okay,
All right,
bye.
bye.